For a century, Miami has been a city of mirages. The image the world consumes is that of a metropolis facing the sea, where value is measured by proximity to white sand and the turquoise blue of the Atlantic. However, as we enter January 2026, that facade is undergoing an irreversible fracture. While international headlines were distracted by the glitz of glass skyscrapers and mansions on artificial islands, institutional capital began to execute a 180-degree turn. Hedge funds, risk analysts, and infrastructure developers have stopped looking toward the water and started looking toward the ridge. The fundamental misunderstanding about Miami in 2026 is that its value lies in the view. The reality is that value today lies in resilience. We are witnessing the birth of what academics call the new geography of capital. This phenomenon is not simply a real estate trend. It is an existential response to climate change and global economic pressure. The neighborhoods we will explore today have gone from being service areas on the map to Florida's most strategic assets: Allapattah, Little Haiti, West Flagler, and Liberty City. To understand why these neighborhoods are so misunderstood, we must analyze investor psychology. Historically, success in Miami was defined by access to the coast. But in 2026, the metric has shifted to feet above sea level. We are in the era of climate gentrification. Areas located on the Oolitic limestone formation known as the Miami Ridge are now the luxury bunkers and logistics hubs of the future. High ground is the new gold, and the most misunderstood neighborhoods are precisely those that sit on it. The misunderstanding is not only geological, it is deeply social. There is a misconception that these neighborhoods are blank canvases waiting to be saved by development. Nothing could be further from the truth. These communities have a social fabric and a mixed-use infrastructure that the coast can never replicate. Allapattah is not just warehouses, it is the stomach of the city. Little Haiti is not just colorful houses, it is a bastion of geological resistance. In this documentary, we will demonstrate that what many called urban decay was actually an incubation phase for the Miami that will survive the 22nd century. We will analyze how capital no longer seeks glamour, but rather business continuity. In 2026, tech companies that moved from Silicon Valley to Miami are not opening offices on the beach. They are buying land in Allapattah because they know their servers will stay dry and their employees will be able to get to work without relying on water pumps. The misunderstanding about these neighborhoods has been the biggest barrier for retail investors. But it has been the greatest opportunity for smart capital that knew how to read the topography before the marketing. Allapattah, a name that comes from the Seminole word for alligator, is perhaps the most strategically misunderstood neighborhood in all of Miami-Dade County. For decades, the narrative reduced it to a rough industrial sector, a maze of fabric warehouses, auto repair shops, and produce markets. If in 2026 you only see warehouses in Allapattah, you are looking through the eyes of the last century. The first big misunderstanding is the comparison. Allapattah is the new Wynwood. This is an oversimplification that ignores infrastructure. Wynwood was an aesthetic transformation. It became an open-air museum for mass consumption. Allapattah, on the other hand, is undergoing a structural and utilitarian transformation. Unlike Wynwood, Allapattah has heavy industrial bones. Its warehouses are not just walls for art. They are double-height logistics assets with loading docks that today house the cutting edge of the creative economy. Low-latency data centers, post-production studios, and biotechnology laboratories that benefit from being steps away from the health district. The health district is the second-largest medical complex in the U.S. From an educational perspective, we must analyze the impact of the arrival of the Rubel family and Jorge Perez. Many thought this would cause an immediate cleansing of the neighborhood. However, in 2026, we see a phenomenon of coexistence. Allapattah has resisted Disneyfication. Here, a gallery exhibiting world-class art sits next to a workshop that has been repairing trucks for 40 years. This is functional authenticity. The neighborhood has not been replaced. It has been stratified. The most overlooked factor in Allapattah is its role as the logistical heart. While Brickell is the brain and South Beach is the face, Allapattah is the stomach. It is home to the Miami Produce Center, where food that feeds millions is distributed. In 2026, With the rise of local supply chains, Allapattah's location makes it the most efficient last-mile distribution center in the state. It's minutes from the airport and port. Misunderstandings about its safety have been a veil that has allowed institutional capital to buy entire blocks, while the general public hesitated. From an investor's perspective, the mistake was believing it was a secondary market. Data from 2026 shows that land appreciation in Allapattah has outpaced Edgewater by 12% annually. This is due to scarcity. You can build more towers in the sky, but you can't manufacture more land that is central, high-rise, and zoned for heavy industry. Allapattah is the neighborhood for those who understand that in this new cycle, utility is the new luxury. If Allapattah is the engine, Little Haiti is Miami's existential battleground. Historically, it has been the subject of a costly misunderstanding, the narrative that it is an enclave of poverty and language barriers that should be avoided. In January 2026, Little Haiti has revealed itself to be the most strategic real estate asset in the metropolis for a scientific reason: its geology. Little Haiti sits on the highest ridge in the city. As luxury areas struggle with flooding, being 12 feet above sea level is now the most coveted asset. We are witnessing the most significant case of climate gentrification in the world. The misconception here is to believe that the transformation is only due to the spillover of wealth from the design district. No, the Magic City Innovation District project, a billion-dollar investment, chose Little Haiti not for its aesthetics, but because its soil will remain dry for the next century. Educationally, we must understand that Little Haiti is a neighborhood in conflict over its identity. Since the 1970s, it has been a refuge for the Haitian diaspora. Its culture is not decorative. It is the fabric that kept the neighborhood alive when the government ignored it. In 2026, the struggle is not only over rent prices, but also over the right to geological space. The misunderstanding is to think that Haitian culture is a barrier to development, when in fact, it is what gives the neighborhood the authenticity that modern capital so seeks. In real estate terms, Little Haiti is the ground zero of adaptation. Investors in 2026 no longer ask about the number of bedrooms. They ask about FEMA's Zone X, areas outside the flood risk. This geological advantage has caused land values to triple in 6 years. The challenge for Miami is whether Little Haiti will become a fortified enclave for the elite, or whether it will be able to integrate its cultural heritage into this new model of sustainable development. Those who ignore Little Haiti ignore where the money is moving in the 21st century. For decades, West Flagler was the ugly duckling of Miami's major arteries. While the world marveled at the skyscrapers on Biscayne Boulevard, West Flagler was misunderstood as a congested, aging corridor filled with dated strip malls and endless traffic. But in January 2026, West Flagler has revealed itself as the city's most important functional corridor. It is the vital organ that connects the financial brain of the city, downtown and Brickell, with its industrial limbs, the airport, and Doral. The great misunderstanding here was the belief that Miami's workforce would always be willing to commute from the distant suburbs. The housing crisis of 2024 and 2025 shattered that myth. As traffic became a permanent tax on productivity, the professional class, teachers, nurses, tech workers, and managers realized they couldn't afford to live in Brickell, but they couldn't afford the time to live in Kendall. West Flagler stepped in to fill the void with what urbanists call the missing middle. Educationally, we must analyze the densification of the Central Corridor. In 2026, we are seeing an explosion of mid-rise developments, buildings between 5 and 10 stories that offer modern living at a price point that actually reflects the local economy. This isn't speculative luxury. It is utility housing. The misunderstanding was that a neighborhood needs glamour to thrive. West Flagler proves that a neighborhood needs efficiency. With the implementation of the new rapid bus transit system and the revitalization of the streetscape, West Flagler is becoming Miami's first truly walkable arterial neighborhood. From an investment standpoint, the smart money shifted here because of the diversified tenant base. Unlike Brickell, which is heavily dependent on the high-end financial sector and international buyers, West Flagler serves the domestic engine of Miami. It is close to the Marlins Stadium, the massive employment hub of the health district, and the logistics centers near the airport. In 2026, a property in West Flagler is considered a low-volatility asset. It might not have the 50th floor view, but it has a 98% occupancy rate and a steady growth curve that outperforms the volatile luxury market. To understand West Flagler today is to understand the maturation of Miami. We are moving away from being a city of islands and becoming a city of corridors. The misunderstanding about its lack of character is being challenged by a new generation of local businesses, cafeterias, co-working spaces, and boutique gyms that are catering to a population that wants to live, work, and play within a 3-mile radius. West Flagler isn't trying to be the next anything. It is becoming the backbone of the city's daily life. If there is one neighborhood that carries the heaviest weight of social and historical stigma, it is Liberty City. Mentioning its name for the last 40 years often invoked images of the 1980 riots, systemic poverty, and gang violence. The fundamental misunderstanding in 2026 is continuing to view Liberty City through the rearview mirror of the 20th century. Today, this neighborhood is the stage for the most ambitious and successful urban renewal experiment in the United States. The educational key here is the Liberty Square redevelopment project. This was not just a cosmetic facelift. It was a paradigm shift in how we approach social and affordable housing. For years, the misunderstanding was that poverty was a condition of the neighborhood. In 2026, we see that the neighborhood's struggle was actually a consequence of institutional disinvestment. By injecting over $300 million into a mixed-income model, Liberty City is proving that you can improve a neighborhood without erasing its people. We must analyze the redlining reversal. In 2026, Liberty City is benefiting from its central location and its access to the I-95 corridor. Institutional capital is no longer afraid of the zip code. They are chasing the logistical value. Logistics giants and tech training centers are setting up shop on the edges of Liberty City because it is the most efficient point of distribution for the entire county. The misunderstanding was that the neighborhood was isolated, when in fact, it is the most connected residential area in the city. The climate factor also plays a role here. Like Little Haiti, parts of Liberty City sit on higher ground than the coastal areas. In 2026, the high ground narrative has officially reached the social consciousness. Investors are realizing that Liberty City offers a long-term safety net against sea level rise that South Beach never will. This has created a complex dynamic. The challenge of 2026 is ensuring that the climate gentrification that hit Little Haiti doesn't lead to the displacement of the historic Black community in Liberty City. For the viewer, the revelation of Liberty City in 2026 is its entrepreneurial resilience. A new generation of Black developers and business owners are reclaiming the land. They are building wealth-centric developments that include incubators for local startups. The stigma of crime is being defeated not just by policing, but by economic opportunity. When you walk through Liberty City today, you don't see a war zone. You see a neighborhood in a state of fierce structural rebirth. It is the neighborhood for those who understand that social equity and real estate value can and must go hand in hand. We have traveled through the warehouses of Allapattah, the high ridges of Little Haiti, the functional streets of West Flagler, and the resilient blocks of Liberty City. As we reach the end of this journey in January 2026, the conclusion is undeniable. The most misunderstood neighborhoods of Miami are the ones ensuring the city's survival. The grand misunderstanding of the last 50 years was our inability to see value outside of the Golden Coast. For a century, Miami lived with its back to its interior. Today, the climate crisis and economic pressure have forced us to turn around and face the truth. This documentary has been an exercise in real estate and social literacy. We have learned that elevation is the new currency, authenticity is the new luxury, and connectivity is the foundation of growth. The neighborhoods we revealed today are the pillars of the 22nd century Miami. They are places where history, culture, and geology intersect to create a resilient urban fabric. For buyers, investors, and new residents, the message is clear. Stop looking for the Miami of the 80s movie posters and start looking for the Miami that is being built for the next 100 years. The future of Florida is not being written in the shifting sands of the Atlantic. It is being written in the limestone of the interior. The key to success in this market is due diligence and the ability to see potential where others only see prejudice. If you can look past the stigma and understand the data, you won't just be buying a property. You'll be investing in the very heart of the city's future.